Peterborough Pete's jersey?
Hold on. I gotta show you something.
Yeah.
Can you see anything there?
I see TD Canada. TD. Oh, shut up, Siri. TD Canada Trust. I see the bank on there. I see the bank logo. What's it supposed to be, Pop?
Cassian.
Oh, nice. From the Peterborough Pete's. How long have
Yeah.
you had that?
Pardon?
How long have you had that?
Well, you remember your sister,
Mm-hmm.
Grace?
Yeah. Hey,
Now
Jackson,
called
thanks for joining.
Gigi Ray.
Yeah.
Well, she went to Nate on a basketball scholarship,
Yeah.
and she became best friends with the sister of Zach Cassian.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
So when did you pick up that jersey?
So I bought the jersey from the Pete's because I grew up with the Pete's, the Peterborough, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got it, and I met Cassian at a game,
Mm-hmm.
and he signed it.
Oh, what? That's wicked. I never knew that. How long ago was that?
Well, let's see. Can you see? Wait a minute. Hold on. I'll get the signature on here.
I think it's on your top right there. I think I see some markings up there. Yeah, off to the right there. Yeah, I can see it. Hey, well,
Anyway,
that's it. Yeah.
I've got a signed Peterborough Pete's jersey from Zach Cassian,
Mm-hmm.
and Zach happens to be in my top 10 of all-time favorite Oilers.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's a great pick. Hey,
Yeah.
just to the viewers joining us, looks like we've got Jackson Bollinger. I've called Jackson Jay Bolly for the longest time because that's always been his name on YouTube. So, hey, Jay, I know your name's Jackson, but I'm going to call you Jay Bolly, bro. I mean, that's how I've always known you. So, just a little bit of housekeeping. Hey, guys, welcome to the channel. This is Stuart for Real. We haven't done a Real Talk post-game show in a very long time. And I've got a very special guest on the show. As you can see, he looks like he lives out in the country. He's got a Catboy hat on. Hey, Ryan, thanks for joining us, man. But yeah, guys, if you're new to the channel, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that like button if you're watching as well, too, guys. That's going to help out the algorithm and get more viewers on the show. So make sure you do that if you haven't done so already. Hey, go Oilers! That's always one of my faithful fans on the YouTube channel as well, too.
I am Stuart's dad, and I have been, well, I still am, I guess, a paid assassin.
Ryan's asking if that's Bob Stauffer's brother. No, that's that's my pop, man. He's an Oilers analyst as well too, and I'm excited to have my dad on the show because he's got a little bit of Oilers history that I don't even know. I mean, you watched a lot of the Oilers in the '80s, is that right, Dad?
Well, the Oilers started in about 1972.
Mm-hmm.
They were called the Alberta Oilers. And then about 2 or 3 years later, Calgary got their act together, and they came into the league as the Calgary Cowboys. And at that time, the WHL decided, well, since we got two Alberta teams, maybe we better do something with the Alberta Oilers. And they
Mm-hmm.
did it to the Edmonton Oilers. And that was about 1974, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when the Battle of Alberta started.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dad. Go
No,
ahead. I was gonna say, speaking of Battle of Alberta, you've probably seen a lot of the older ones back in the day. How would you compare the tension with the Battle of Albertas you've seen? Because we've seen some epic ones. Like the past couple of years, we saw Cam Talbot and Mike Smith go head to head in a goalie fight. Back in the day, were the fights a lot more vicious and gruesome compared to what they are now?
Oh yeah. The even in the NHL, WHL, fighting was, whether you like it or not, was a part of the game, and it happened all the time. And especially with the Edmonton Oilers,
Mm-hmm.
previously the Alberta Oilers, and
Yeah.
the Calgary Cowboys. There was at least, whenever they played the Cowboys, there was at least 4 or 5 fights every single game.
Every game?
Every game. And it was, oh, it was fun.
Did you watch any of the games in the Saddle Dome here when you were in Calgary at the time?
Oh, yeah. Well, they didn't have the Saddle Dome until about, I forget exactly when, but I'm talking about the old corral.
Mm-hmm.
It was about a 4,000 seat arena that smelled like bullshit. But
It's a PG friendly channel, so
so yeah, it was a lot of fun, and
yeah.
and it wasn't until the WHL got merged into the NHL
Mm-hmm.
that things really started to look really fun.
Yeah, no kidding. Dave's on the channel, Dad. He says bring back line brawls.
Live brawls or line brawls?
Line, like hockey lines, and brawls, line brawls.
Oh yeah,
Just
I'm all for it. It's all part of the game. It always has been.
speaking of which, now that you guys have been talking about this, I'd love to hear what the viewers have to say about this as well too. Um, they're talking about you know how sometimes there's a big hit on a big player. Let's say Edler takes another run at McDavid. Okay, he's got to
Who?
answer the
Who?
Edler, one of the defensemen on, or Drew Doughty, for example. Drew Doughty on the Kings. Let's say Drew Doughty lays a clean hit, lays out McDavid. Oilers have to respond, right?
McDavid? Never heard of him.
So they have to respond accordingly, right? Now the league is saying that if that were to happen, that's an automatic penalty, and they're trying to ban that from the game.
They can't do that.
Right?
I get my peace thing going here. Does everybody know that I know that Zach Cassian personally?
Yeah, no, I think for the viewers that joined, Zach Cassidy and Peterborough Pete's jersey. Ryan says the Los Angeles Queens get shut out by the Oilers, and I mean, what a win that was. That was a huge game for us, Dad. That puts us. We actually leapfrog over the Kings. We got 1 point above them now. We're second in the Pacific Division, and I believe we're only. Correct me if I'm wrong out there, guys, but I think we're only 2 points away now from tying Vegas for the lead in the Pacific Division, who actually clinched for a playoff spot already.
That is great. We are going to win the cup this year.
I think so. I mean, if Stuart Skinner plays the way he did tonight, um, if Stuart Skinner plays like the way he did tonight for the rest of the playoffs, I mean, I don't see why the Oilers can't go the distance. We've got a decent team here for sure.
If Skinner plays the whole playoffs and doesn't get hurt, we will. If we have to put that Campbell guy in, we'll lose. Talking about goalies, remember I was telling you about Andy Moog?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it time to talk about that now?
Hey, whatever. Whatever. Let's talk about Andy Moog right when we get into that, Dad. I'll tell you. So I was doing a little bit of homework here. Stuart Skinner, for all of our viewers, actually set an Oilers club record with a win tonight. He's got he surpasses Mike Smith from 2022, Tommy Salo from 2003, your good buddy Grant Fuhr from 1987, and Andy Moog, who we're talking about right now in 1983. They were all tied for 9 wins in a month. Stuart Skinner passes all of them with his 10th win. That's an Oiler club record.
Well, good for him. I'm glad for the lad. I really am.
He's from Edmonton, home ground boy.
He's just a great goalie, and he's good in the dressing room. He's a good citizen.
Yeah. He's got a great name, Stuart. I mean, how can you go wrong, right? Jay Bally says Oilers management telling Campbell he lost his job. It's not me, it's you. He's referencing us. Jay Bally's always great on this show. He always adds a lot of good commentary. Ryan and Dave have added a few as well too. I noticed a few others have joined, guys. If you got any questions, make sure you put them in the live chat. We'll make sure we get to you guys as well too. But Dad, go ahead. I mean, you wanted to talk a bit about Andy Moog. I looked. He had about a 5-year career with the Oilers. Grant Fuhr had a 10-year career with the Oilers, but
Andy Moog, in my opinion, was the best goalie the Edmonton Oilers ever had, and it's an awful shame that he's not even considered for the Hall of Fame or anything else, for that matter.
I think he won every cup with the Oilers, didn't he?
Yes, he
Or
did.
maybe, yeah, right.
Well, just about all. Back in '82, he was the main goalie, and I might have not my dates right yet, but in '83 he was the main goalie. At that time, they beat the New York Islanders, who were a fabulous team back then, and they got into the playoffs. Didn't get the cup that year, but the next year with Andy Moog, they did. And the year after that, they did with Andy Moog.
Yeah.
The year after that, they did with Andy Moog. Where was Grant Fuhr all this time? He was the second string goalie. And back then, the Oilers were just every game they scored at least 6 or 7 goals.
Yeah.
And they had about maybe 5 or 6 against. And that was Grant Fuhr. He got that rep from playing with the Oilers when they were scoring 6 or 7 goals a game and letting in about 4 or 5 or 6. Boom. And Grant Fuhr won a couple cups with the Oilers on that same thing. But the main thing is that one year that Calgary won the cup.
Yeah.
They had that goal with I think it was Steve Smith.
Yeah. I remember.
They gave him heck for letting that goal in. And the Calgary Flames went on to win the cup. That's a shame.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows, I've coached hockey. I coached Calvin a lot, didn't I, when you were kids?
Yeah.
The main thing about a goalie is you never, ever take your eye off that puck. Never. Even if it's at the far end of the rink, you never take your eye off the puck.
That's a good point.
Grant Fuhr did take his eye off the puck. Smith, put his stick out to tip a puck away, and it went right in. Poor Steve Smith. has been the bad guy for that ever since. And you know what happened after that?
Uh,
They made Grant Fuhr a Hall of Famer.
huh.
The worst thing they ever did it ever. I got no respect for the Hall of Fame anymore.
That's interesting. That's interesting take.
In fact, I
Never.
would like to start a petition to all your guys and everybody else to have Andy Moog put in the Hall of Fame
Okay.
because he's one of the best goalies ever.
It is
And
kind
he
of
was
weird how.
always a good citizen.
Yeah.
Everybody loved him.
Hmm.
And he wasn't a drug addict and an alcoholic like Grant Fuhr. Yeah, it's the truth. That's the truth. So all you Grant Fuhr lovers out there,
Jeez.
I'm telling you the truth. Go
Okay.
and source it yourself if you don't believe me. Okay,
Okay.
I'll shut up for a while, son. You go
Okay.
ahead.
Hot. Okay. Hot take. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dad. Anyways, whew, hot take. What I was gonna say, my memories of Andy Moog. Oh, actually, I want to get to a couple of things that they've been saying in the chat there while you're chatting there, Dad. Dave says Jack Campbell's going to make a playoff comeback. Dave, do you honestly think that? Or I hope Stoop would. I mean, I respect how Woody is putting him in some of the games because he's got to keep him warm coming into the playoffs. Because if he comes in cold, like cold soup, that's exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get cold soup. So um, I don't know. I don't know if he will, but I hope that he does. Campbell's definitely got to heat up. Other thing I wanted to say, Andy Moog, Dad. My only memories of Andy Moog was 1997. Ryan, Dave, you're probably on the feed and know about this. Go Oilers and Jay Bally. I'm not sure. You guys might be too young, but 1997. That's where I remember Andy Moog. Do you remember he was playing with the Stars, Dad?
Um, well, you sourced it out, so yeah, I believe you. Yeah, I can't remember right offhand.
Well, I remember. I remember watching. Hey guys, thanks for hitting the like button. I got one like there. All of you guys, I need you to hit that like button. Help us out here. But I remember 1997. You remember Ryan Smith had that one goal in triple overtime, shot at 5-hole.
Yeah, I remember that.
That
Ryan
was on
Smith,
Andy.
yeah, he was an Oiler, wasn't he? Yeah.
That was on Andy Moog. Andy Moog was in net, but of course he was at the tail end of his career. He had already been in the league for a long time at that point, so he
Yeah,
probably wasn't.
Andy was getting a little old by then, and so was Ryan for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So not in his prime at that time.
This is after,
Uh,
by the way.
yeah, I doubt that. Um, Flaming hot take. Jay Bally says the Bruins are going to be out in the second round.
Nah, no
What do you
way.
think? Do you think they're going the distance?
Oilers against Bruins is my prediction.
Oilers against the Bruins?
Uh-huh.
What a okay.
For the
I want to
Stanley
hear
Cup.
for the Stanley Cup. I'm thinking we're gonna go Oilers. I'd love to see an '06 rematch, Oilers and Carolina Hurricanes. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Well, that would be nice to have, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's going to be Bruins and Oilers. Bruins are just too freaking good.
What do you like about the Bruins, Dad?
I like everything about them. They've got scoring, they've got
Mm-hmm.
defense, they've got
Mm-hmm.
goaltending, they've got one of the best coaches in the league.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can say on that.
Well, everybody else, Jay Bally kind of started that, guys. You throw out who you think your takes are for the final. But yeah, definitely. I mean, guys, it's Oilers channel. Of course, we're biased, but you look at the team that we have. I don't see, and you see how they played tonight. That was a playoff game. If you guys were watching the whole game, big hits. Here's another hot take for you. Connor McDavid taking out, I forget his name, the defenseman there, but took him right into the boards. I'm wondering if the league's going to have a look at that. I hope they don't, because he left the game. He was hurt, man. Past 5 President Trophy winners haven't made it past the second round. Oh, Jay Bali's spitting some facts here, Dad.
Okay.
Interesting. You know who the other dangerous team in the West is, guys. The former Cup winners last season, the Colorado Avalanche. Man,
Well,
everybody's healthy. McKinnon is hot right now. Kale McCarr is back. But if they can get the goaltending from Georgiev, I don't see why those guys can't go the distance. And maybe we'll see a rematch, Dad. Maybe we'll see those guys in the Western Conference Final again.
well, we'll probably see them in the final, and it'll be 4-3 Oilers. My opinion.
Yeah. Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Depending on how this playoff matchup goes, Oilers could potentially be taking on the Flames. Flames are only 1 point out of a playoff spot. They could take the final wild card spot. If the Oilers take first in the Pacific, we could see another Battle of Alberta.
Oh, that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. And
we should watch one of those, man.
Fighters than them.
What's that?
We've got better fighters than them.
Well, speaking of which, I mean, you look at our defensive line. Vincent Desharnais. Nobody's hating on Darnell Nurse as of late because he's scoring. He's actually tied a career high in points for all the Darnell Nurse haters out there.
He can take out anybody.
Still leads the team in plus minus. And since we're talking about enforcers, Dad, that's an interesting shot. I don't know what that is up there. But, and I'll throw this out to the live chat. You guys can let me know. If you had to rank the top Oiler fighters of all time, top five, how would you rank them?
George Larac.
What number?
1.
Number 1, okay.
Oh, geez, I'm drawing a blank here. We've had some great fighters. Dave Hunter.
You wanted to talk about him. We'll catch up on him once you get through your top 5.
We'll catch on him, and I know him. Okay, he's a buddy of mine. I just can't think of him now, but there's been lots.
Hey guys, help us out here.
The guy they used to call the lawnmower because he'd just be like trying to pull the thing every time. Manlin? I don't know. But
okay, I'm gonna throw out a name here, Dad. And you remember when we had season tickets? What year was that? Was that 93 to 97? You would say when we had season tickets?
Yes, we had 3 of them. 4 of them. Pardon me, 4 of them we had.
So maybe 92 or even all the way up to 98.
Yeah. And I had some back in when the Oilers were the Alberta Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
And season's tickets were like, I don't know, $5 a piece.
Jeez, $5 a piece
for
Oiler tickets at that time?
Well, this is like 72 we're talking. Oh, yeah.
Jeez. You know, the top, the fighter that I remember in when we had season tickets, Dad, you remember they called him the Terminator. You remember who that was?
Yeah, I do.
He does color commentary for the Oilers right now.
Oh, yeah. Geez, I'm drawing a blank here. This apple juice is getting to me here. But that guy, yeah, he was pretty good. He was really good.
Dad, Louis DeBrusque.
Oh, I thought you meant the other guy with the beard.
Other guy with the beard?
Yeah, his partner on the telecast.
What? Who?
The guy from Alaska.
You're not talking about Jack Michaels, the main guy.
Yeah.
No, he didn't play for the Oilers. Louis DeBrusque, man.
Yeah, but he was pretty tough, I heard.
Who? Jack Michaels?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to try and tweet him. I still haven't got an answer from him. I've tried tweeting him a couple times, so we'll see.
Just having fun
but
yeah, Louis was good. And Louis was really good in the dressing room. Guys loved him. He was a good citizen. You know, I'm glad he's doing well now. I really am.
Hot takes. Jay Bali's helping us out here again. Oilers make Stanley Cup final, but lose Maple Leafs win a round in 7 games, but lose in the second. Geez, this is a big take here. Blackhawks end up getting Connor Bedard after Columbus accidentally wins too many games.
I,
Do you
I
know
hope,
much?
I hope
Do you
Calvin.
know?
I hope Calvin's watching this tonight because
No,
he just go nuts.
I doubt it. You know much about Connor Bedard, Dad?
No, I don't.
Yeah. Well, anyways, he's the next Connor coming up. He's a small dude though, so I don't know how well he's gonna do in the league, but he's heating it up in the WHL. He's putting up the same numbers that McDavid was doing, so it'll be interesting to see who takes him. We got a couple joiners that just joined the channel. Hey guys, thanks for joining the channel. We're just doing a little bit of catch up. I've got a special guest on the show, Pops, my dad. He's given us a little bit of history on the Oilers. We always talk about the current events and what's going on. But for those of you that are Oiler fans right now, whether you're my age or a little bit younger, you know Connor McDavid, you know these guys. But what were your thoughts on Dougie Waite? Because that was the guy I remember when we had season tickets when we were younger. He was like my Connor McDavid was Doug Waite.
Dougie Waite was a great player and a true gentleman. He's just great. He'd be in that top 5 you mentioned before.
He signed that big picture for you, right?
Oh yeah,
You remember?
I got that. It's downstairs. You want me to go get it?
No. That's okay.
But no, he was great. Um,
Hey, Dad, you got.
I only met him once,
Mhm.
but he was such a nice guy. Really nice guy. And big, big and tough looking too.
Yeah. Hey, Dad, you got any crazy Oiler stories?
No, I got lots.
Yo, give us your craziest one for some of the viewers that are just joining us right now.
I'm trying to think of it right now, but there's got to be the craziest Oilers story's got to be that one that year the Calgary Flames won the cup,
Mm-hmm.
and Steve Smith tried to stop a shot, and it went towards the net, and Grant Fuhr was sleeping or something, and it went in the net.
I've seen the clip, Dad. So Steve Smith is behind the net and
Mhm.
he throws it out front. Well, and to what you were saying, Grant Fuhr is just kind of going for a skate, you know? He's going for a little coast and
Mhm.
he shoots it off of his skate and it goes in.
Yeah, and Smitty, I don't think it's as much anymore, but the true Oilers fans know that that was not Smitty's fault. It was Grant Fuhr's fault, and they won the cup because of Grant Fuhr. And Grant Fuhr is still probably stoned on coke or something right now as we're speaking.
Oh my God.
And if Grant, if you happen to be listening, give me a call. I'll meet you at Tim Hortons and we can talk about it. You know, there's no way that Grant Fuhr should be in the Hall of Fame. And a guy like, no, that's all I got to say on that. Grant
what
Fuhr,
do,
Grant Fuhr is a waste of space, always has been.
you really seem to remember that time. A lot of bitterness. Well, what happened after that game? Were you watching that game?
Oh, yeah.
Where were you?
I was watching in TV and I didn't have the cool Shaw cable thing I got now where I can go back and forth and watch it over and over again.
Times have changed.
I had to depend on CBC to do it. But I'm telling you, the Edmonton Journal and the Edmonton Sun front page news all about that. It was horrible. But Smitty got all the blame for it. And it was a shame. He had nothing to do with it. He was just doing his job, stopping the puck.
Speaking of blame, I guess the blame that I can remember was the '06 Cup run. Game 1, Edmonton Oilers, Carolina Hurricanes. and Marc-Andre Bergeron body checks, I don't know who, right into Dwayne Rollison's leg, took Rolly out of the series.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you remember who they put in? Ty Conklin.
Oh yeah, Ty. The beach ball guy. Yeah, we would have won the game for that, but no, I don't blame that. Stuff like that happens, okay? And
Mhm.
they had to put in him, and we might have won the cup after that. We might not have. And then we had that big defenseman.
Chris Pronger, man.
Yeah, I remember that guy. He was pretty good.
He was the quarterback back there. I mean, he was part of the reason that we went. I mean, we had, in that '06 run, we had the depth that the Oilers have now. The Oilers have a good problem where they have to take certain people out of the lineup that they don't want to take out of the lineup. Like today, they went with 11 forwards and 7 defensemen. And I feel the Oilers are a lot stronger. Their record is superior compared to when they have the traditional 12-6. And big part of it is because they don't want to take big Vinny Desharnais out of the lineup. That's a guy you don't want to fight. See how big that guy is?
Uh-huh. And you
6'7".
you don't want to take Bouchard out either.
No.
Bouchard makes some mistakes once in a while, but he always makes up for them.
Yeah, that's true. And he took over that blue line for Tyson Barrie. I had my reserves about when they were trading away Tyson Barrie. For those of you guys that haven't seen, have a look at Oilers Nation. They got a video posted of Kenny Holland talking about that trade, talking to Tyson Barrie, letting him know that he traded him. That was an interesting video to watch. It's on that Oilers Plus channel. I haven't subscribed to it. You got to pay for that, but some interesting content. I may check it out. Maybe good for the channel.
Oh, if you want to subscribe to it, I'll give you the dough for it.
No, don't worry about that. That's okay. What do you think about Evander Kane?
Well, as you know, when he first came to the Oilers, I was not in favor of it.
Mm-hmm.
I completely changed my mind on that. He is he's dangerous whenever he's out there. Whether it's scoring a goal,
Mm-hmm.
you smoking pot, son?
No. This is just a vape, Dad.
Oh, okay.
Just a vape. No, you would know if I was high.
But Evander, he's dangerous on the offense. He's dangerous on the defense,
Mm-hmm.
and he can fight like a son of a gun. I like the
So,
guy.
so let's say the Oilers end up taking their likely opponent, the LA Kings, going into the playoffs. How many games do you think that goes?
4-1.
4-1 for the Oilers, eh?
Yeah.
Well, if they play like the way they did tonight, I could definitely see that as well too. That was a matchup that we didn't want to go against. Definitely a tougher team. Really well coached team by Todd McClellan. I don't understand why the Oilers fired him. I think they should have kept him, but it
That
all
was
worked out in the end.
a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
That kid they got now is just
What? Jay
that kid,
Woodcroft?
yeah. That kid they got now is coaching is just he got handed the best team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe the second best team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I could coach that team.
Yeah, I bet you could.
With the players they got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So who would be your top line?
Well, McDavid.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm going to go Draisaitl. The Japanese guy, what's his name? Takibana. Or whatever. But
Yamamoto.
yeah, Yamamoto.
Yeah, there you go.
But we got the 2 top lines in the league, I think.
Mm-hmm.
and our third and fourth lines are good, and they pitch in. That's the way the Oilers were back in the 80s, where they had Dave Hunter and those guys playing.
What were you going to say about Dave Hunter, Dad? I know you wanted to talk about him.
Okay, this is a funny story. And Dave, if you're watching, I know you like it. Dave Hunter had issues, okay?
Okay.
And I shouldn't say this, but he had
Well,
drinking issues.
okay.
Okay. And back in the day, remember I was at Millwood's Pentecostal Church?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was one of the ushers, okay? And we would have to take up the collection.
Right.
And this is the first time I met Dave.
Mm-hmm.
And he was there with his daughter. Like he was kind of divorced at the time, but he had some time allocated with his daughter to spend time with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think she was maybe about 5 or 6. And it came to collection time, and we're picking up the collection. And the plate's coming by. It comes to Dave, and he puts in a 20, and he kind of waving at me.
Yeah.
He's not waiting for the plate to come back, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Waving at me. And I said, okay. He goes in there, and he makes a change. They put in the 20, rooted around there, and took a 10 out.
No way.
Oh, he did.
Oh my goodness.
And he goes, okay. Yeah, no problem, Dave. And then, anyway, after the service comes, us ushers, we gotta open and shut the door for these rich Germans coming out that kind of own the church, eh?
Mm-hmm.
And Dave's coming out, and he comes up to me, and we start talking, and he's just such a great guy, and we've got together maybe 4 or 5 times since. I meet him at the Hortons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that top 5 fighters,
Mm-hmm.
Dave Semenko. Did we mention him?
We talked about him. Yeah. You didn't put him in your top 5 though.
Well, he's in my top 5
Yeah.
because I remember him. And you know that where that Husky station used to be by our place,
Yeah.
and I used to go there in the morning sometimes to get cigarettes. And Dave was I always seemed to meet Dave in there. He was getting cigarettes because he was a big smoker, eh?
Mm-hmm.
And we started talking before, and every time I go up to him and says, "Oh, you're Dave, right?" And yeah, it is, yeah. Man. So we go to Tim Hortons and have a coffee, and oh, he was such a nice guy. I mean, a gentle guy. And I said, "Geez, Dave, you kind of surprised me." He says, "What do you mean?" I says, "Oh, I don't know. I always thought you're tough and mean." He says, "Well, that was my job, Ian. My job was to get in line with Gretzky and protect him. And if anybody got anywhere near him, my job was to go and beat the shit out of him."
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he was a great fighter. But really, in outside of hockey, nicest guy you'd ever want to meet.
It's interesting what you're saying. It just seems like you're able to walk up to these Oilers and just have conversations with them, go out and have a coffee. Could you imagine? Uh, Nowadays, I mean, Drysdale couldn't go to the gas station and just have a conversation with a fan and go have a coffee. Like you're not going to see anything like that.
Well, you might. And let's start hanging around the gas stations.
No,
Open up.
but it's interesting though. When I hear you talk about that, because there was this interview I was watching with Gretzky, and he said, anytime we'd get to Northlands, we get into the building, we'd see all the season ticket holders that were sitting, right behind the bench or wherever, and they knew them. They addressed them by name. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
they would interact with the fans, and I don't know. I don't sit in those seats. I've sat in there a couple of times, but I don't know. I can't imagine McDavid or Drysdale will do the same thing. It's hard to say. Maybe they do. I don't know.
I don't know, but I'm thinking that they probably do. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they do because it's part of their job to play hockey and to be nice to the people that support them.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I
Because
think
without us, they don't have a job.
I think they probably do. Same as like Joey Moss.
Hmm.
Remember him?
Oh, of course, remember Joey Moss. Joe's a legend.
Everybody just loved Joey Moss, and they were always super nice to him whenever they met him.
Hmm.
You know, it probably wasn't the easiest thing to do sometimes because Joey'd want to talk for like 5 hours, but uh, but yeah, that's the Edmonton Oilers. You don't see that in I don't know, California, a lot of the places in the Eastern Canada. I mean, no, they just they just play hockey. I remember
Hmm.
the times where Oilers couldn't trade for any good players because they didn't want to come to Oilers country because
Hmm.
they knew they'd be having to do all that stuff. But the
Or
Oilers,
it's yeah, or it's cold and it's Edmonton.
but the thing is, the television, the radio, the newspapers, they're Oilers 24/7.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
Well,
they have to do it.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you're an Oiler, whether you're freaking Derek Ryan or whoever you are, Devin Shore, you're a celebrity. In the States, I mean, no one's even going to recognize you unless you're maybe Nathan McKinnon or whoever.
Remember the first time Tampa Bay won the Stanley Cup,
I think so. Yeah.
and CBC was showing them after the game, and they were walking out like they're walking out of a movie, you know.
Hmm.
And it was like, oh, who was that? Oh, jeez, I can't remember. The coach with his Sock'em Hock'em movies.
Don Cherry.
Yeah, I remember Don Cherry was still on CBC then before he got fired, and he
Hmm.
was just furious. He says, Tampa Bay just won the Stanley Cup, and they're walking out there, and nobody's cheering, nobody's jumping up and down and yelling. They're like they're coming out of a movie. And Cherry was just furious over that. And I don't blame him. I mean, that's the difference between what you're going back about. Or
Speaking of which, of how like hockey is probably like at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to sports in the States. I mean, there's a lot of hockey fans in the States. Don't get me wrong, but you know,
it's
Gary Bet
better than it used to be.
Gary Bettman's always trying to grow the sport. In your opinion, Dad, why is Gary Bettman so hated?
Well, I don't know because he has grown the sport. And whether you like him or not, he's gotten huge revenue from the States and got a lot of TV time in the States. I don't particularly like him as a human being, but he's done well for the hockey. Okay, he has. He's done well. I'll give credit where credit's due.
Do you think the Canadian fans hate him so much because he doesn't give the Canadians another hockey team?
No, his job is to make money for the owners, and that's what he does. You know, I mean, he brought Winnipeg back in.
That's true.
He came real close to bringing Saskatoon in over Seattle, but he does what's best for the owners.
What,
And
what about the what about the Quebec Nordiques? What happened with them? How come they lost their team?
well, they went to Colorado, right?
Mm-hmm.
Won the cup the next year. Um, well, it's a lot to do with Canadian politics. You know, Quebec Nordiques, the provincial government there wouldn't give him a decent rink,
Mm-hmm.
real crappy old rink that housed about maybe 4,000 people in squalor.
Mm-hmm.
And they had such a great team. And they had
Well, yeah,
a great rivalry with the Canadians, you know, not unlike the Calgary Flames and Edmonton Oilers. It was super. But they just couldn't make any money. And they went to Colorado. But it's
and then
just
they won and then they won the cup.
yeah, just a business decision.
Mm-hmm.
Like Colorado's been making money ever since,
Yeah.
and Quebec was just losing millions and millions of dollars every year.
Mm-hmm.
So
Interesting. Hey, Pop. Well, we're starting to wrap up here. We almost been on for about an hour, believe it or not. So,
really,
as much as I'd love to continue the conversation, we got to start wrapping things up.
okay.
We're having a few more people join, but we're getting towards the tail end of it, guys. Jay Bally, Dave, Ryan. I don't know who's still on the channel, but I'd like to take this time to thank everybody for joining. We'll definitely do this again another time, but. Hey, Dad, any final words for the viewers before we sign off here?
When's the next game?
When's the next game? That's actually I don't know. Let me check the schedule here. Uh, we're playing on Saturday against the Ducks. We only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 6 games left.
We
Only
got the
six
cup.
games left.
We got the cup this year.
Hey guys, let's go Oilers. I think you're right, Dad. I think we do have the cup this year. I feel pretty confident. I think Kenny
If we
Holland
have
deserves.
Andy Mogan net, we'll definitely get the cup.
Andy Mogan is prime. Um,
No,
but
right
you know
now.
what? Right. I think with the moves that Kenny Holland made, beefed up our D line. I think the trade was necessary. It was sad to see Barry go, but Matthias Ekholm has definitely been the presence that we needed on that blue line. Him and Bouchard have just been. I mean, they've been fire, and he's made Bouchard a better defensive player. Like you said, he still makes those mistakes. He's still causing some turnovers and cost us a few, but he does make up for it, like you said. So. Um, but yeah, ladies and gentlemen, folks, thanks for joining. We'll do this again. Dad, thank you so much for being a guest on the show. Really do appreciate it. Good
You're
stuff.
welcome. You're welcome,
Good
son.
stuff. Some great stories. I'll give you a call right after we wrap up here. But thanks again, everybody. Really do appreciate it. And this is Stuart for real signing off. I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later.